Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is the Manchester United versus Arsenal preview at the Emirates. It is. And I tell you what, I want to just say straight away, if we win this game, and I tell you what, that's a good team. That is a good team there apart from Lingard, isn't it? We'll talk about that in a moment. But if we were to win this game at the Emirates, we will go 10 points clear of Arsenal. I tell you what, I think for Arsenal fans, this would be like winning the Invincibles Cup again. I think they genuinely would love to be 10 points ahead of us. For me, and I think this is the difference between Manchester United and Arsenal, even though we would be absolutely pulverising them on January the 1st and being 10 points ahead of them, which is amazing, I'd still be looking at how far Liverpool are ahead of us because they're the real rivalry. And I would still be thinking, I want to be there. It's a small battle to beat and annihilate Arsenal. The real war is to be at the top of the league. And that is why, as much as I would love us to beat Arsenal, and I think we will be sat there wanting more. And I think that's the problem with Arsenal these days, and the problem with United these days, is that we want more and we're a long way from where we need to be. But we can only deal with what's in front of us. And Arsenal at the Emirates on Wednesday, Arteta's third game, he's not won yet. He's waiting for that bounce. He bounces his boiled egg on the floor and it keeps breaking. He wants a bounce, he wants a win. And we've got to be very careful of that. But I watched Arsenal against Chelsea, I've seen them against Everton, I've seen them quite a few times over December, and I don't see where they cause us problems, to be honest with you. If United play well, and look, I'm not running away with myself here, because we know with United that it isn't always the case. We're very inconsistent, but we've got an opportunity here to win 3 games in a row. We've not done that. I don't think we've won 3 Premier League games in a row this season, correct me if I'm wrong. So we've done 2 a couple of times. I think this has probably got a draw written all over it, but when we're looking at where we want to be, and that Chelsea win over Arsenal, we could have been a point behind Chelsea going into this game, but they went to the Emirates and they won. We must do the same, because Chelsea away to Brighton, I think they're going to win there, and that 4-point gap they've got on us could, if we don't beat Arsenal, go anywhere between 6 and 7. So United need to go to Arsenal and win to put some pressure on Chelsea, or we're going to see the same thing again as what we saw a month ago, where Chelsea, Leicester, City and Liverpool have got top 4 on lockdown. We've got to go into this January, and I'm a little bit worried. You know, I think that Haaland thing was a bit of a blow. I think we're going to get further blows in January with people leaving that we don't want to, and people not being signed, and maybe, you know, getting through City's going to be tough in the Carabao Cup and Wolves away. So we've got to start the month with momentum going into a very big month for United. We've definitely got the team to beat them. Look, if you look at Arsenal, defensively they've got a lot of injuries, especially at left back. I think whoever plays on the right side is key. I think he'll go with Greenwood. I think he should go with Greenwood. But if he goes with Dan James, he might go with Dan James to exploit Saka at left back for them, who is not even a left back. So he might not go with Greenwood, but I think he should. I think age is a number, and Greenwood has delivered far more than Dan James has in the last month. And I think Greenwood deserves to start, and he's the fresher player. So I would go with Greenwood. He might go with Dan James to try and get him to run at Saka, which I haven't got a problem with. But I would go with Greenwood. I think Greenwood deserves it. You look at Martial and Rashford and you look at that Arsenal defence, I think it's there to be hurt, and I think we will hurt it. We've got to get the ball to them. And how Arsenal play this game is going to be very interesting, because I think Arsenal under Emery would have attacked us and left space at the back. I think Arsenal under Arteta have become better defensively and looking to hit teams on the break themselves. So both, you know, that's what Ollie wants to do, especially away from home. So we could cancel each other out, and it could end up being quite a tight 0-0, 1-1 game. And that is my fear, because we need the points. Arsenal need the points, but we need the points. They're not in a top 4 race. I firmly think we'll see Arsenal in the Europa League final. I don't think the Europa League is strong. I think the Premier League, even though it's the worst Premier League I've seen in a while, I still think the Premier League is the best league in the world for quality. I think we'll see Champions League winners from the Premier League, and I think we'll see Europa League winners from the Premier League. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's an Arsenal United final. I think Arsenal are just going to have to focus on that now. Top forward's gone for them, but it's very much there for us, which is why we need the 3 points. The midfield is where the game will be won and lost. I think Torreira, Guendouzi, Xhaka, Ozil, whoever they pick, if it's up against Fred and Pogba, so important in this game. We need to see Paul Pogba playing. If Pogba plays, then I'm very, very confident that Manchester United will win this game, because Paul Pogba, whether he's inconsistent or not, is the best midfielder on that football pitch if he plays. Fred at the moment is one of the most informed midfielders, not only in England, I think in Europe. I would give him that accolade. So we're strong up front and we're strong in the midfield. Of course, that number 10 position, Jesse Lingard, worries me. But Jesse Lingard seems to get gold dust in his boots at the Emirates. And I think, although Pereira probably does deserve to start, and he does deserve to start, Pereira should start. I've got a funny feeling he's been... I think Ollie is this sort of romantic. I think Ollie is a romantic. And I think that Ollie believes in all that stuff. And I think Ollie has been keeping Lingard back for this Arsenal game. I think he has purposely not played him as much over Christmas and said, I want you to turn it on against Arsenal. You've done it there before. And I really do think he's going to start Lingard. And I think it's a mistake, but if it works, it's genius. And it might work, because with the quality of players around Lingard, Pogba, Fred, Rashford, Martial and James or Greenwood, he's got a circle of in-form players around him. It's hard to fail. But he might fail because that circle around him needs him to be the cog in the middle to feed it. And that's why I'd rather go with Pereira, even though I don't think Pereira's amazing. I think at least he's in form. Lingard, leaving 2019 with no goals and no assists in the Premier League. How funny would it be? First day of 2020, he gets a couple of assists or a goal. So I do think he'll go with Lingard. And then the back four, we're working back front to back here. The back four, it's got to be Luke Shaw at left back. I thought Brandon Williams was great against Burnley, but I think people aren't understanding that role needs to be shared. He can't play every week, and Luke Shaw will play. Wan-Bissaka will definitely play, and the centre-backs will be Lindelof and Maguire with De Gea in goal. And actually, you look at that team, and you really do understand how United this season have underachieved. Because that team on the left, my left, can beat anybody. We know that. It's beaten Spurs, it's beaten Man City, it's the only team that's not been beaten by Liverpool. So we can be good. And I think where we stumble is belief, consistency and coaching. But we've got 2 wins in a row and we're going to the Emirates and they're vulnerable. And I just think that this, and the start of a new year as well, the start of a new decade even, I just think that this game is too big an opportunity for United to draw or lose. If you go to the Emirates and win, yes, Arsenal are crap at the moment, but you've beaten Arsenal at the Emirates in the league. You've got 3 Premier League wins in a row. Our next Premier League game is Norwich. We've got 2 cup games before that. So momentum, consistency, belief start to run through that team. Pogba's back. It's a January transfer window. Maybe we'll buy people. And if I just feel that this game, more than any game probably this season, is so symbolic of what we're going to do, not only with January, but the rest of the season and maybe the rest of Ole Gunnar Solskjær's managerial career. Because if we win this game, 3 wins in a row, beating Arsenal at the Emirates, confidence and momentum, it could be huge for us. And we keep in that top 4 race as well. I think if we draw or lose against Arsenal, because Chelsea I think will beat Brighton, top 4 will slip away again. It becomes 6 points, it becomes 7 points, and it starts to drop away. We've got to grab on to Chelsea and try and exert some pressure on them. And we've got to go and win this game. So very rarely you go to Emirates and you play Arsenal at their place and you're the favourites. But we are the favourites in this game, and I'm confident. And I remember us playing them a year ago in the FA Cup and stood outside with Robbie and that, and it was a very cold day. And we were given all the bravado, and we were calling. I was calling Lacazette the French Charlie Austin, and it was bravado because United had got Ollie at the wheel and we were on a roll. I don't know whether I believed United could win, but I did. I said, well, United are going to win, and I was confident. I think with this one, this is a different type of confidence. This is not a feeling. This is we should win. Arsenal aren't good. Arsenal are, at the start of something that might work, but they're lacking confidence. They're not very good players. United, we're going into there with momentum. We're going into there with Martial and Rashford playing well, Fred playing well, Dan James and Greenwood fighting it out on the right wing. The back four's got its first clean sheet of this in a long, long time. De Gea's a fantastic goalkeeper. Fred's in that midfield. Pogba's back. We've got to go into that game and win it. And I think a lot rests on the shoulders of Ole Gunnar Solskjær. How will he approach this game? Will he go into it thinking a point's good enough, or will he go into it for the throat, I need the 3 points? And again, we don't know with Ollie. Is he going to be the man of the future? A lot of people think he isn't. A lot of people want him to be. But these are the games as well. It's not just about beating Newcastle and Burnley. This is now a big game. This is a mentality test. This is, are you happy to go and take a point? Or are you going to go and get the 3 points that we need? Because we're playing catch-up. We're playing catch-up for all the points we didn't get away to West Ham and Newcastle and everyone else. This is a massive opportunity for United, and we can't not take it. And I think United will win 3-1. I think that I don't think this Arsenal team scare me. They have got good players. You've got to be careful. but they don't scare me. They've got a lot of players that don't know whether their future's here. You've got a lot of young players that, by their very nature, are inconsistent. They're shaky at the back. They're nervous. You know, they've just come off that result against Chelsea where with 10 minutes to go, they're about to get their first win against a team that's good. They're maybe about to get back in the top 4 race. A keeping error, tiredness sets in, and they lose 2-1 in the last 10 minutes. Belief, confidence, mentality at Arsenal, even if they're 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, we can still go and win that game. That's why we've got to go in there with the belief and confidence and mentality ourselves to impose ourselves, which we haven't really done in a long, long time. Go into a game away from home against a traditionally big rival and exert yourself and get the 3 points. And I think that, to me, is what it's all about. And the game will be won and lost in the midfield, but for the first time in a long time, I think we will win that midfield battle. Of course, the big thing is Pogba. I've got no reason to think Pogba won't play. If he didn't play, whoa, we're in a lot of trouble. What's that all about? But I think he will play, and I think United will win this game. And then I think we're going into those cup games, which again we've got to win. But we have a little bit of a gap from the Premier League till we play Norwich, I think, at home in a couple of weeks. And if we're 4 points behind Chelsea, we'll take that. You know, if Chelsea slip up at Brighton, great. But if we're 4 points behind Chelsea, we'll take that and we build into it. And that's why I'm going to go with the Manchester United win, and I think we'll win 3-1. Not going to disrespect Arsenal. Of course they can win. They're the home team. It's the Premier League. You know, it wasn't that long ago we were going away to Burnley and thinking, ooh, I can see us slipping up here. So of course we can go to Arsenal and slip up. But I think against the top 6 sides, Ollie, this is his domain. We've not lost against any of those top 6 sides traditionally this season, whether it be Leicester, Chelsea, City, Spurs. A lot of those games have been at home, but we've got a good record. So we've got to go here and win this game. And I think Ollie goes into it with confidence. He comes out with 3 points. And, you know, then everybody who's been Ollie in or everyone who's unsure, we start to think, well, yeah, look, you've got till May anyway. You've got till May. Let's see what you're all about. And that, you know, with Solskjær, people are always, are you Ollie in? Are you Ollie out? I was Ollie out. Now I'm Ollie in. Now I'm Ollie unsure. I think for me, I'm unsure about Ole Gunnar Solskjær. I really am. I think that his inexperience is a problem. I don't think we know who he is yet. But in my mind, I'm set and content with the fact that he's going to be the manager till May. There was a time in December I was thinking, maybe we're going to have to change this. But I think where we are now, we give him till May. And I do wonder about this conspiracy theory out there, actually, that Haaland not coming to United, does that now make it easier if United don't sign anyone in January to just go, you're not the manager we want, let's get rid of him in May, let's bring Poch in? And I think we need to be wary of that, which is why I think the January transfer window is so big, which is why I think we've got to sign players, as well as the fact that the squad's just not got the depth it needs, but it also shows a trust in this manager. But yeah, I think Ollie's got to stay until May, and I think he will stay until May. And I mean, look, we're nearly at the end of the year, so I may as well say it. What does Ole Gunnar Solskjær need to do between now and May to really get another year? For me, I think he needs to get Champions League football, whether that's winning the Europa League or getting top 4. And a domestic trophy would be nice. But if he gets Champions League football, he's the manager next year. If he doesn't get Champions League football, there's a question to be asked. If he gets nothing and we drop to like 6th or 7th and there's no domestic cup, I think you've got to question whether he's the right man, because he'll have been here a year and a half. What do the club want? I think the club would stick by him as low as 6th. I think if he's in 7th and he wins nothing, they might look at it, especially if Pochettino's available. But I think from where we are now, yeah, we've had a very bad start to the season, but for where we are now, I think he's got to get Champions League football. Europa League could be won, and we've got a chance at top 4. Domestic cups, look, you know what, it'd be nice to win the Carabao Cup, it'd be nice to win the FA Cup, but I think because the Champions League's there, that's your priority. If you've got to rest players in the cups, whether it's Man City or, well, we won't need to rest players in the Carabao Cup because it's over by, 2 legs in January. You can play a strong team, and the finals in February. So Carabao Cup's irrelevant. But if you've got to rest players in the FA Cup, because the FA Cup latter rounds are in March and April, and that's when the Europa League and the top 4 race really kicks in, the FA Cup might become irrelevant. It might become irrelevant in a week when we get knocked out by Wolves. But for me, you've got to go for that Champions League, and you've got to get it. I think to not get Champions League football this season when it's been such a bad season. It's been such a bad season. Apart from Liverpool, it's been a bad season. Everybody's been. I mean, look at how inconsistent Chelsea's been. Look at Arsenal. You know, there was a real opportunity to get top 4 there. So to not get it, I think, is failure. And I think that's what I'm expecting from Ollie. No, I'm not expecting failure. I'm saying that's what he's got to do. We reassess it in May. What do you think? Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. But I'm going into this game confident against Arsenal. And I think that's exactly what United need to do. Because we can't afford to draw or lose. We've got to win. Speak to you all soon.